welcome to Webgains Accelerate, our CEO panel today. We're here to explore how we can help accelerate e-commerce. Over the course of Accelerate, we're going to hear from a series of different kind of speakers. There'll be some really practical sessions and some really kind of useful sort of tools and tips and tricks that we'll be sharing. Today, we're going to look at the broader landscape. We're going to look at really how technology is transforming the marketing landscape and define the role of different products and technologies in that shift. So yeah, if you want to learn how to get featured on high traffic websites and find new audiences, then look at some other sessions. But for today, we're going to focus on the broader context. So I am very, very pleased today to welcome. We have Nilay Oza, the founder and CEO of Klevu, and Richie Jones, the founder and CEO of vvast. So I will hand over to you first, Nilay, if that's okay, just to introduce yourself a little bit and a little bit about Klevu as well, please.
Thank you very much, Natasha. Pleasure to be here. Nice to see you, Richie. Yeah, we are a global Finnish company. We run like a startup family, and we are spread across 4 continents. We speak over 12 languages within our team. Language is our kind of key or core specialty. That's where we started. We wanted to kind of really, our mission has been that every retailer on the planet should have access to really good discovery experience, irrespective of their shape or size. Like in Finland, we have human rights to have access to broadband. Similarly, I like to have excellent discovery experience for each and every retailer on the platform. So it's kind of giving them an opportunity to kind of have the true democratic platform available. And we are doing a very small part of it, but very critical part of it, which is discovery. And we started with search as a company because our background is primarily into machine learning and natural language processing. Our roots are also pretty much quite strongly in the UK because one part of our technology actually has very deep roots into Sheffield, where there's one of our CTO was one of the core developers of one of the largest open source text mining platform, Gate. So yeah, bunch of nice folks, trying to help retailers, all over the world to make the delightful journeys for their shoppers. And then we work with partners. That's how we learn. And I think not a single thing in Klevu actually has come from our mind. It has always come from customers or partners. So very, very thankful to the team and our extended team. That's how we see that. About me, I'm one of the co-founders, and I know I'm like a ward boy, trying to help resolve the obstacles to the customer journey and value creation. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you. And I completely agree. It's crazy where the best ideas always come from the strangest places, don't they? But definitely creativity and collaboration are vital to the way that we do business today. I think it's important to build strong partnerships. So Richie, over to you. Can you give us a brief bio and a little bit of background to vvast, please?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Natasha. So yeah, my name is Richie Jones, founder of vvast. We've been trading just over 4 years now. And to your point about ideas coming from kind of the craziest of places, the name came to me while I was surfing, and the kind of concept of the opportunity with direct to consumer, which is what we do, being vast. Literally, the opportunity it can be unhindered if you like apply the right sort of team to it and so on, which is the key thing. So what we've done is we built one of the best sort of teams in the industry. We take best practice around, say, merchandising and buying and online marketing, warehousing, customer service, all those things you need to be able to complete the full 360 view of direct to consumer. We've built that team, and we help brands, usually West Coast US, but starting to pick up more and more European-based brands as well, by applying our kind of basically our vast playbook and our platform to accelerate them in market and not make all the kind of mistakes that a lot of brands who in the sort of COVID age have made in terms of just trying to throw up a website and not do the basics correctly, like stock control and customer service, dare I say, and all those things that can really trip you up as a brand. So we've set out an offer now, an opportunity that means that brands can come into market super quick. And much like Klevu, I should say, we're performance based as well. So there's skin in the game as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting model, isn't it? I think in terms of, as I say, the way that we do business is definitely kind of changing, and that idea of building ecosystem is really important, but also being creative in the way that you engage with businesses. It's interesting sort of how the different models are coming through, and actually you can still go back to some really basic economic principles in terms of the way that we do business, but actually entrepreneurship and innovation are so vital to human sort of progress. I guess, Nilay, in terms of your kind of business model, is there anything that you think you've done sort of differently, or in terms of the culture and the type of people that you're kind of bringing into the organization?
We have, to be honest, we didn't have a lot of corporate background. We were only looking into basics. That is customer happy? Are we adding value to the customer? Incremental value to the customer? Is our team happy? Do they smile? Very basic things that we kind of and inherently we were very diverse. I also come from very different kind of multicultural background myself. So like from day one, we had customers. Being a Finnish company, we had customers who were from outside Finland. We had team also working with us from day one from outside Finland and within Finland. And so everything was like diversity of everything was like from day one so inherent in our DNA that now, and we are still kind of startup, but now we are kind of approaching 100 people in our team. And when we come across things like how do you ensure that you have gender diversity and those kind of topics we come across, and we feel that hang on, we don't have to retroactively kind of patch it up anything or consciously work towards, because it was inherent in our system itself. We are very, very proud of, like, we are a funded company by a venture capitalist, and part of that we went through due diligence and this kind of specific type of workshops. And one of the things that also came from external experts in observing us was definitely our team. So yeah, we are very, very proud of that. And we have been sort of, our philosophy is to give the platform, whether it's customer or partner or our team. And I think that has worked very well. The business model, our mission has remained the same from day one. So even today is the same mission and same vision. And we are progressing exactly on that line, which is very good. Business model, we early on recognized that earlier we had to do a lot of education about search, to kind of help the retailers understand the value of it. Now it's no longer that education. It's more about, we need it and who is the best provider. Yeah, I mean, we have been, for our customers, having the transparency is key, and not having kind of variable kind of, different type of kind of, bill coming every month for the product we provide. For certain products, it's absolutely even crucial to have, variable pricing. But for us, from day one, it has been a fixed pricing model, fixed subscription model. And our intent is that when the customer subscribes, we don't want customer next month to kind of, pay more, because again, we are not like, as I said, we are more like, startup type of company, and we still are in our culture. And So the intent of having just additional MRR from or monthly subscription from the customer is not kind of driving the activities, but rather, yes, let's give them good enough stuff. They don't have to kind of, upsell or upgrade, like next month or something like that. So yeah, I mean, for us, I think that has worked very well. Again, that could be just because our product is like that, because search and discovery experiences are inherently in any platform. If you go for Shopify, Magento, Salesforce, you do get some sort of, merchandising, you do get some sort of search. So just providing kind of, very fixed, transparent pricing for bulk usage, kind of fair usage limit, that has worked very well for us.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember the early days of the internet when it was called new media, and and actually, we had the internet really only came into its own with the launch of, I think it was Ask Jeeves, and those kind of search sort of domains where you kind of, I'm sure there were many others that I don't bear to mention, but yeah, that idea of search is so important, isn't it? Being able to find what you're looking for, and of course, like the proliferation of information now, kind of information overload, and we're all drowning in data. Being able to hear the sort of signal in the noise is absolutely vital, and finding the right product, I guess. Richie, what's been your experience? And I know you've been in it, in the game as long as I have. Maybe not quite as long, but certainly at the kind of cutting edge of it all. What have you seen really kind of change in the kind of e-commerce landscape in particular?
Well, over all of these years, because I think e-commerce years are a bit like much of anything digital marketing, like dog years, dare I say. So I guess I'm in my 90s at this rate. But anyway, I think the big changes, there's probably the massive one that happened was finally the year of mobile. So everybody said it's the year of mobile from about 97. So it wasn't until Steve Jobs finally nailed the iPhone and fixed the user experience to be this stunning, touch-based experience that we're now so familiar with. Until that happened, mobile didn't really take off. Whereas now, you got mobile, most of our brand sites is usually at least 70% of all transactions. And these are big, like average order values north of £150 type transactions. So if someone had said that to me even 5 years ago at that level of AOV, I'd have been a bit shocked. So I think seeing mobile finally come to the fore, and I think with mobile, you've then got, looking at how good things like Google are now in terms of understanding your geolocation, being able to get live stock information on stores near to you. So you just go and buy something from the Google serve is again another big kind of thing that's happened in those timeframes. So I think that's definitely it. I think the seamlessness, as we all know, around the omni-channel experience around e-commerce, especially the next day, same day thing, is something that's quite unique in some senses to a lot of these kind of highly populated areas. So when you get out into the middle of the US, same day is just not possible, obviously for geography reasons. So I think that's the other big change. The consumer just got conditioned to this frictionless ability to go one click and it arrives usually hours later, which is interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've been talking a lot in the business about that kind of that last mile. That's what's really shifted recently. I think sort of during COVID times where people maybe weren't at home so much, and so they didn't want to kind of risk, having product delivered to the home. They were out and about, that kind of last mile now that has really kind of shifted the kind of the game plan for e-commerce. How about you, Nilay? What have you sort of seen in recent years? What have been the big trends that you're looking at, and I guess a little bit more kind of what do you think the future holds?
I echo, what Richie said about mobile and also geography. I think one of the, especially if you think about UK, one of the key competitive advantages that Amazon had earlier was, delivery and logistics, which I think with the great innovations, in the ecosystem, a small retailer today in the UK, in London, for example, can get to the things as fast as Amazon, for example. So that democratization has happened in certain areas like shipping, which is very crucial. If you look at like Postnode in Sweden, they do yearly really good research around trends, and shipping is actually, once you pay for something, you really want it. You know, it's a human psychology. And I think especially likes of the UK, which is also very well mapped, I think, in terms of the postcode and very brilliantly kind of, you know, laid out in my view. And I think that's an amazing advantage we have here in the UK from that point of view. Payments is another area. I think earlier, at least recently, some of the great innovations around payments have enabled, mid-size retailers to kind of provide the same level of experience to the shoppers, right? I think that's clearly, I see. For the future, I see we all are still social animals, and I feel that there would be a lot more digital experiences in offline retail that we would see. And we have been already experiencing some level of offline experiences in online retail. And I think that will only accelerate. More and more human-based experiences will come alive in online shopping. And on the other spectrum, you would have a lot more digital experiences coming to the retail, like a physical, offline retail world. And thanks to the innovations that are happening in the ecosystem, at least for the UK, I can kind of definitely say, I think there is a level playing happening. And even if you are a mid-sized retailer, it doesn't mean you can't thrive in the ecosystem. With the right technologies, with the right innovations, you can actually leapfrog the customer experience without investing, a lot of money into the experience. Yeah, but for me, that part would, and also in bit longer term future, I feel that we will, according to Moore's law, at least if you apply the basic Moore's law, I feel we're gonna go interface less, interface free, like, mobile-based shopping is now key. And mobile will become sort of the mainstream sort of, medium for interactions. But I think it's just a matter of time that even that would kind of, go away, or we will start to see different type of interfaces through which we would interact to get our discovery or experiences, laid out. So yeah, that's how kind of, at least I personally see it from my very limited experience.
Yeah, thank you, Nilay. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's interesting seeing, and Richie, I think it was you I was talking to about this last week. I think the weekend before last, there was an advert I saw for, I think it was Curry's PC World or something on the TV. I don't watch adverts anymore. My children happened to be watching something, and there was an advert that came up, and I was like, hang on, let's watch this advert, because it was basically saying, that if you go onto their website, then you will interface with an actual human in the store. So there's a new service now that they're launching where you can actually get, a store assistant in the store while you're almost kind of telling them, oh no, can you go down that aisle there? Can you please, and I just thought that, there are these shifts that happen in the way that certain retailers behave. And as Richie's already alluded to, our kind of COVID years or dog years that we live in retail, where things that can accelerate at such massive pace with the advent of mobile or whatever is coming down the track. Richie, what do you see being the next big thing? What would really unlock kind of, another big shift, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all eyes on what's going to happen as we come out of the COVID age in terms of the vaccination rollout. Obviously, yeah, what is the great unlock going to look like? I think in the same sense that we were all wondering what does the work from home situation look like, I don't think we're all going to pile back to our offices 5 days a week, that's for sure. And that's going to certainly change the retail habits as well, around how people behave and so on. I think all the brands we work with have an omni-channel play, so we work very closely with the wholesale teams as well. And it's really, really cool when we see the impact of what direct-to-consumer marketing does to the wholesale door openings, for example. We have just done a really big campaign in Switzerland recently that's raised brand awareness for one brand, and that's led to another sort of, at least sort of 40, 50 doors, as they call them in wholesale, opening. So that's retailers who then want to work with the brand as a result. So I think in terms of what's going to potentially happen, I think increasingly customers still want to touch product. We know that's going to be a feature, but obviously the concept of touching any products at the moment, I mean, you go into the supermarket, you barely check the lettuce when you pick it up these days. You just grab it and put it in your basket because you don't want to touch anything else, So it's going to take a little while for people to get used to that experience of going in the store and touching and feeling product again. And I think there's a kind of hybrid, as you alluded to on the Currys approach, where the great thing about having a human in store that you can interact with in a good way is not only can they emphasize the brand experience and be really helpful and be consultative, but also the crucial thing is you actually get an idea of the scale of the product. There's a really common problem in e-commerce where you can't actually tell how big something is. We find this with adopting US brands, especially where all the American sizes are a lot bigger, especially with things like drinkware. Trying to translate that to the tiny European drink holders in European cars, for example, is a bit of a hoot, as they say. So that's been a challenge. But I do still think there's going to be these big retail, almost like cathedral-like spaces where you've got low density shopping experiences. So not actually that much product, but it's all just laid out like a beautiful visual merchandising, really helpful people. Everything's really, really on brand with the ability to transact seamlessly. I think the concept of e-commerce is just an e-commerce thing. The E will eventually just melt away and become commerce again. And the way commerce is going is it's just this kind of seamless omni-channel experience. You're used to walking the store. You might pay Apple Pay. It means they recognize you in store as well, and it joins you all together from a data point of view. All of those things are going to kind of come. They've already been accelerated with COVID. So I think off the back of COVID and this acceleration, it's just going to be a better kind of personalized experience with these crazy cathedral experiences, which is going to be good.
Yeah, sounds like an exciting future. I think you're right, that hybrid approach is definitely, and I completely agree, taking the E out of e-commerce. I know that's not what we're here to discuss. We're talking about the future of e-commerce, but I think
I might have destroyed the title.
It's commerce, and good business practice. So I think we're kind of entering a brave kind of new era, but I don't think it's going to be terribly sort of different in lots of ways. I think it will as always be hinged around that kind of experience piece, won't it? I guess, and putting the customer at the heart of the conversation, and indeed the heart of kind of commerce. Nilay, do you have any other thoughts that you'd like to share in terms of the future? What are your kind of hopes for Klevu over the next kind of couple of years?
We are investing heavily into, or even strengthening our investments into data science, because we know that how the top three, of the companies are, how much they are sort of, leapfrogging when it comes to discovery experiences. So we need to ensure that, we not only bridge the gap, because we always, tell to the, mid-sized retailers who have, let's say, 50,000 products or 10,000 products that, please don't copy Amazon, because the context is very different, right? There are 3 billion products in the global catalog of Amazon. There are hundreds of thousands of sellers there. You don't have the same context. So, if you try to copy the same discovery experience, you are really, venturing a very dangerous journey. But what is very inspirational is how they use the data, how the machine learning is utilized. And for many, even for the large retailers, there's no way for them to catch up even, because there are many other things to look at, right, as a retailer. And I think that's where we want to kind of bridge that gap. And our aim for the future, near-term future, this year at least, is to have kind of the full seamless discovery suite experience for our customers. And we are going beyond sort of the tool set mind, but going more after the sense-based discovery. Like, think about computer vision. So when you see something, image, like Google Vision is one of the examples, how beautifully they can, provide you matching kind of products based on the picture you take. But that is not designed specifically for retail. And we are developing through our data science lab, we are actually aiming to actually challenge that with retail only, because that's the only thing we do. We don't do anything else but retail. So how can we go from true image to information? If you give me an image, can I describe the image? Currently, one of the challenges for the retailers is that they have a catalog describing the image. But can you have an image which can actually literally write the catalog almost? So image to information. And if we can accomplish that just for retail, I think there are a lot of applications of that that retailers can utilize to make the shopper's journey delightful. Other is, of course, voice, another sense. So our aim is to optimize the experience around the senses of the basic senses of the humans and make the discovery truly to the next level. Again, this is a journey, so it's an evolution, but this is where we are investing a lot. That's what I can share.
Great, thank you. Well, that's definitely why I was very keen to have you on the call today, Nilay. I think in terms of the vision for the business and certainly the ethos that you never stand still. It's always about kind of keeping moving forwards and what's the next, how do we improve the experience. I think that's absolutely imperative, but it sounds like you're making great strides down that path. Richie, I know we've been following what's been going on in Suez and the Suez Canal with great interest with that kind of shipping container of stuck, and obviously there are some real pitfalls and hurdles still for e-commerce and kind of retailers. What do you see as being the real kind of, I guess, the hopes and kind of opportunities for vvast moving forwards?
Yeah, so reference that ship. It's a relief to see it free. We got some containers on there, which actually are stock of all the ships. What can you do? But I think in terms of the future of e-commerce, I think it's going to be even more accelerated. I think from what I can tell, and I think it will be a lot of these brands who have invested heavily through COVID to perhaps bring forward investment they should have been making anyway, because a lot of brands have been kind of caught on the hop slightly with it. I think they're going to yield or get the kind of benefit, the yield from all that investment now as we go into the post-COVID age, or living with COVID, we should say, living with the throttled, controlled COVID. So I think it's going to keep on accelerating. I think use of data will be paramount to that, as we all know. The building of not uncreepy Apple-like private personalized experiences really. So not a Facebook personalized experience, or maybe even a Google, dare I say. It's more of a opt-in, easily controlled kind of, the consumer can see the benefits of why that data is being used to help them buy product, or say if they bought a brand new bike, it's inevitable that within weeks they're going to probably need some new tires. So having that as really obvious ways of setting on value-adding products for them is going to be really crucial. So I think personalization is here to stay as a feature. Seamless e-commerce, next day, same day. But I think crucially just tying up that in-store experiential, community-led kind of experience around things. It's no longer a channel. It's like a kind of deeply woven into what any brand should be talking about. I think is crucial.
Great, thank you so much, Richie. Thank you both ever so much for your time today and your insight and inspiring thoughts of the future of e-commerce. Really appreciate it. So thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking to you again both very soon.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.